Well, good afternoon and welcome one and all. You're most welcome here. Are you enjoying visiting my estate? What have you enjoyed so far? The food? The music? Very good. A house? You been inside the house yet? You have? Very well. And you know my name? Captain Philomen Pownoll. And this is my house. This is where I live. Indeed it is. Well, I'm out here to answer any question you may have and you wish to ask me about this fine estate and this house and about my life. But I'll start by telling you a little about how I came by the estate if you wish to hear that. You want to know? Well, I wasn't much older than you when I joined the Navy. I was 14 years old. But I was always at sea even before that, and I'd sailed up the River Dart, all thanks to my grandfather, Israel Pownoll, because you see my grandfather invented dredging equipment and was able to dredge rivers like the Dart so bigger ships could sail up. And my father, who was a shipbuilder down in Plymouth, he would sail up here with me and I would look at this estate and the little house that was up here with its formal gardens and often wonder what it might be like to live with such a fine view of the river. And my dream came true. It was out of possibilities, out of the realms of my imagination that I should ever live in a place like Sharpham House, being the son of a shipbuilder. But my dream came true. You see, I joined the Navy when I was 14, and by the age of 25 I was already a sea captain. 25 years old. Did well, didn't I? I was captain of the HMS Favourite, a sloop. And at that time there'd already been war with France and Spain and other countries, Austrian War of Succession, so I was already involved in battles in various places and had been halfway round the world. But in 1762 I had my opportunity. I was alongside Captain Sawyer of HMS Active. We were hidden behind a headland, waiting for the Spanish fleet to come off Cape St. Vincent, at the edge of Portugal. They'd come all the way from the Americas. Well, we were waiting by this headland, hidden, and watching and waiting. And I'd been a younger man in those days and climbed right to the top of the mast, up the rigging, and could see over the headland, and from my hiding place, in that place before the break of dawn, I made out the shape of a ship approaching. I thought it must be a Spanish treasure ship, but I couldn't be sure, so I listened, and my hearing was good. It was all quiet in the light before dawn, not a sound, not a ripple on the ocean, and I heard the babble of Spanish voices. You know, Spaniards, they talk louder than us, don't they? You could hear it clear as day, and I knew enough Spanish to understand when she got close the order to go about. So I and Captain Sawyer, we gave the order. I blew on my whistle, I was down on the deck and ordering the quartermaster. The sails were dropped and we sailed out with a good wind from behind the headland and approached that ship, and we took them by surprise. Rasping right alongside her, we let out a broadside and we stormed on board across the gangway. The top men on the mast, they lashed the two ships together and we stormed on board, and I with my cutlass drawn and pikes we had, and the Spanish officers, some of them drew their swords, but we put them down and soon they surrendered, what with the blast of the shot. Anyway, Captain Sawyer came from the other side and we had taken the Hermione. I fired my pistol in the air as a signal that the Hermione was in our hands. That's the name of the Spanish ship, the treasure ship, the Hermione. So we brought that treasure ship into Gibraltar, British territory. And there our prize was counted. Now you know the law. As long as it's wartime, if an enemy ship is taken, the prize is shared. Part of the prize will go to the captain and the officers and even the ordinary seamen on board, as long as it's wartime. Anyone who's in sight of the ship will have their share. Well, we came into Gibraltar and the prize was counted. There was gold, silver dollars, silver itself, blocks of tin, gunpowder, there was cocoa. A lot of cocoa coming all the way from the Americans it was. And when it was all counted, nearly £520,000. And my share, being one of the two captains, was £64,000. Captain Sawyer got the same. Officers got their share. Every seaman, ordinary seaman, got his share of £480, which is like, what, 30 years of wages. That was some prize. And I knew what I'd do with my prize, because war was coming to an end. And I took my prize and I approached the father of my true love, Jane Magendie, daughter of a Portuguese merchant. Now, we already liked each other, but I dared before that ask her father. And Captain Sawyer asked her for her sister's hand in marriage, and the two of us were married to the two daughters. And I got the greater prize because Jane was the beauty. So Jane Magendie and I were married, and with that money I remembered this estate, and I approached and bought the estate. All of it, the land, the house, and I commissioned Mr. Robert Taylor to design this house you see before me, this marvellous house with a wonderful aspect, and Capability Brown himself, with the latest fashions, doing away with all the formal gardens and the sweeping, majestic, dramatic view down to the river that you see before you today. This is how I wanted it, because I wanted to look out to the river. And down you heard the river, you heard my current ship is the HMS Apollo, 32 guns. And we sailed up this morning. Did you hear the salute with the guns? Yeah, she's down there. And we wouldn't have sailed up there were it not for my grandfather's equipment dredging the river. So anyway, here we are. Jane Magendie and I married, our daughter Jane born within the year. And our daughter Jane, she's around somewhere, probably off canoodling with that young bastard. No, I don't mean anything by it. You're called the Bastard family, and he's a young man of great wealth himself, and I've no doubt that one day they'll be married, but she's too young as yet, she's only 16. So what else did you want to ask me? What do you want to know?
How long did it take to build the house?
Well, it takes the time it takes, doesn't it? And if I, sorry if I don't answer every question, it's this wound I got in my chest.
That's all right.
Now, you know about the wound in my chest. I got a musket ball in here. Do you know that? I mean, I was relaxed for a while as the estate owner, and finally parish of Ashprington. I took my leisure, and Jane and I enjoyed the new wealth that we had acquired. But 1777, after 14 years of that was enough, and when the American War started, it was asked to get involved again. So Earl Sandwich, William Pitt, asked me if I would command the HMS Blonde, carrying troops to the Americas. And with all that being over, and then more wars with France and Spain, I was at war again, fighting. And HMS Apollo's my new ship. I brought Edward Pellow himself from the Blonde to the Apollo. He's a fine midshipman and quite a fine sailor as well. I've got the best man ship in the whole Navy now with the HMS Apollo. But last year, doing battle with the French ship, the Oiseau, off the coast of Brittany, in all the maelstrom, I got a musket ball in my chest. It's still there, a ball of lead right there. They couldn't take it out, the physicians. You think that stopped me fighting? Not at all. I'm a warrior through and through. You know who my true inspiration is, don't you? Who's the greatest naval sailor in the history of Devon, in the history of Plymouth, my home city?
Drake.
Francis Drake, Sir Francis Drake. And you know the stories they tell about Sir Francis Drake, don't you? You know Sir Francis Drake, they say he was playing bowls when the Armada were coming. Did you know that when he finished his game of bowls, he took a block of wood and a hatchet, and he chopped at the wood, and bits of wood flew into Plymouth Sound and grew into fire ships that destroyed the Armada? He was a wizard, Drake was. No, that's... I know it's a legend, but it's something to aim for, isn't it? And I said to my wife, Jane, I said, don't ever be unfaithful to me. And remember what happened to Drake's wife. And you know what happened to her, don't you? You don't know? Well, it was Drake, of course, that proved that the world was round. It was a ball. Because he sailed further than I did. I mean, when I was a boy, I was in Algiers, Nova Scotia, Leeward Islands, where I got my conch. But Drake sailed right to the far side of the world, and once when he was there, he'd been away from England so long, his wife thought that he was dead. And he heard news and rumour when he was aboard his ship that his own dear wife back in Devon had given him up for dead and was going to marry another man. And he flew into such a fury, did Drake, he pointed his cannon into the sea and let off a cannonball at such velocity it passed right through the middle of the earth and burst through at the flagstones where they were kneeling at the altar to take their wedding vows, and that stopped them, and the wedding was cancelled. And I said to Jane, I said, you mark my words, that will happen to you if you were ever unfaithful to me. And she'd always been faithful, but sadly, as you might have heard, Jane died last year. She wasn't a strong woman. It was a bad year last year. I got the musket ball in my chest. My wife died and my father died as well, 1779. But it didn't stop me. Carried on fighting, and I'll fight through to the end. Already this year I've been involved in the relief of Gibraltar. That was back in January, the defeat of the Caracas fleet. I fought against the Spanish ship, the Monarca, till she struck her colours. The Mutine I took as well. It never stopped me. It never stopped me. Even that gypsy in you don't get those strange women in the streets of Totnes, don't you? And she looked at me deep in the eye and she said, Captain Pownoll, don't sail again this summer, 1780, because you'll be destroyed by a cannonball. She looked me sharp in the eye like that. And you believe her? Well, I refuse. I mean, even if it does happen, I'm going to go down fighting. It's just superstition, isn't it? Do you think that's going to happen to me? You think it will? Well, you're just as crazy as that wise woman in Totnes. So what other questions do you have?
Well, just a point.
Well, please do correct me if I make any mistakes, sir.
To answer this guy's question, he died in 1780.
Oh! Hang on a minute! Wait till I'm not around, will you?
I'm a witch as well, you know. And the house wasn't finished when he died, so it must. Well, I don't know. They took the place 62. We probably got the money about 64, 65. So at least 15 years, and it still wasn't finished when he died.
Good job I'm deaf. Now, what else do you want to know?
How many children did you have in the end? Just one daughter?
Just the one that survived, just Jane. Yeah, Jane, my daughter. My wife was frail, you see. Condition of the spleen, some of the physics said. Others said it was her humours were wrong, I don't know. I don't send anything with these quacks. But anyway, she passed away last year, unfortunately. She was the love of my life. Never looked at another woman after I married Jane. Before that, there were a woman in every port. But anyway, ask away. What question did you have, young woman?
Are you still rich since you paid lots of money for the house?
Well, I still have a little bit of money that I can pass on to my daughter. She and the young bastard will do well. And no doubt for generations to come. I have brought for you a little prize from Barbary Coast. Some fresh oranges. Now I tell you what, these will help stave away the scurvy. You know what it's like we've been away at sea a long time, those ship's biscuits, they get full of weevils. Little creepy crawlies. Do you think it's good to eat the weevils? Some say so, it's full of nutrition, they say. But I prefer to eat oranges to make sure I stay healthy. But the trick is with the weevils, what you do is you tap the biscuit till the weevils come out the bottom, and then you eat it, run behind, and then with the weevils you feed them to the chickens on board the ship, so you get good strong meat off those chickens. You are, sir. Have an orange, will you?
Thank you very much.
Madam. Sir. And an extra one for you for all your knowledge, sir. and one for you yourself.
I'll leave them here. Thank you.
Now, any last questions, or do feel free to stop me in my tracks as I walk around. But if there's any questions you would like to ask me, then feel free. I'll do my best to answer. And if I don't know, there'll be another gentleman who can.
Well, I just where were you born?
Plymouth.
You were born in Plymouth, were you? Oh,
Yeah, my father's shipbuilding, you see.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I came in a bit late. So
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
But you know, I lived this since I got the house, of course.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time in London as well. Chatham Docks.
Yeah.
My father is involved in Chatham Docks as well.
Why did you want to start like fighting and stuff?
What was the question?
Why did I want to fight in wars? It's in my blood. It's in my blood, fighting for my king, King George III. Hip hip!
Hooray!
Great King George III, king and country. That's who I serve. I do my duty, and my talent is as a warrior, like Drake, taking ships from the enemy, defeating them, and bringing prizes back to England. That is my duty.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Good to meet you, young man. You going to be a sailor one day? Are you going to be an honest sailor or a pirate? Oh, don't tell me that! I caught 2 private ships 3 years ago. True blue. You don't want to know what happened to the pirates on board there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Philomen Pownoll. 1st of July 2018, Sharpham Open Day.
Now, medical science